and welcome to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. It is the 8th of December. The week has seen a lot. Britney Spears' birthday on the 2nd. We had Fenna Grace's birthday party yesterday. It was at this beautiful soft play kind of near us. It's a bigger soft play than the one we usually attend, and I had to hire it privately. Why? Because every parent of small children knows that the soft play is a goddamn nightmare, especially in the winter months when kids can't really go outside. It's not even like Canada where it's cold and snowy and you can bundle up. It's just wet. It's wet. All the playground equipment is wet. And I felt very guilty. I mean, I didn't feel guilty enough not to do it, but I felt marginally guilty about privately hiring the soft play for 2 hours. I chose 2 hours in the afternoon. There were different slots to hire it in the morning or the evening. I thought we will do 1:45 until 3:45. There are small children napping at that time. They'll be in a post-lunch slump. I think that most people take their kids out in the morning if they want to go to soft play. And truthfully, I have been to this soft play before. Lovely as it is jam-packed. And my children are not of the age that they can really go toe-to-toe with a neurospicy 8-year-old. They're not. Fenna's still 2 years old. Fred is 4 and delicate and shy. And I can't think of anything worse than like bringing a bunch of people and buggies and jackets and gifts and snacks and trying to like pile that into a building where a bunch of kids are going feral. So I hired it privately. All right, yeah, I did. How much does that cost? Well, about $2,000. Ridiculous. But the parents who attended, just the look on their faces, because you know what it's like. You get this school invitation and you go, oh, God damn it. There's a birthday party every fucking weekend. Like, why is my child making friends? I explicitly instructed my child, don't be nice to anyone at school because I don't want the rest of my weekends taken up by birthday parties. I have personally been dodging the group chat at Fred's new school, and the moms will stop Bobby. They'll be like, Fred's dad. And he goes, yes, at drop off, because he does drop off and pick up more than I do. And they go, oh, has Katherine joined the WhatsApp? And Bobby goes, no, I think her phone got smashed. And I am part of a lot of WhatsApp groups. These people are becoming parents for the first time. I've been a parent for 16 years. I've been in and out of the chat groups, and the like random buying and selling of items that goes on there, the like random chat, there's a lot on my plate now. I don't want to be in another WhatsApp group. And one of the elements to like sweeten the deal, the mom goes, oh, tell Katherine, Fred's dad, tell Katherine, they don't call him Bobby for some reason. Tell Katherine she's got to join the WhatsApp because that's where we send the birthday invitations. And Bobby was like, well, now you've sealed the deal. She will not be joining that WhatsApp. And I've made it really far. Like, they started school in September. It's now mid-December. I have made it very nearly to the 3rd term of the year, completely absent from any like PTA, any WhatsApps, nothing. And it's going to blow up in my face because there's going to be a question that I have. I need to know about a school trip, or I need to know like some crucial information that's on there and I just don't know it. And everyone's going to say, that's what you get for being an asshole, Katherine. You should have joined the WhatsApp. And then I'll go, yeah, all right, and I'll join it. But Fenna still goes to her nursery where I don't know a lot of the parents. I don't. But they will have received the invitation and they'll be like, fuck me, fuck off. This is at a soft play on a Sunday afternoon. And a lot of them will know the soft play as being like bananas. I can tell you the name of the soft play actually because they asked me to tag them. It's called Rainbow Soft Play in Southgate. A beautiful soft play. It's very near to the Hen and Chickens Theater. But any time that I have been there, just regular, it's nuts. It's crazy. I don't know if it's like specifically the clientele or the availability of sugar or the fact that it is a really good soft play objectively. So like lots of kids want to go there and older kids go there. and they've got lots of staff, and it's like tidy and clean, but it's dangerous for my children, I feel, to go there on a regular day. And these parents were probably thinking the same. They're like, oh, God. And I can tell, because anytime we have a party at our house, siblings will come, both parents will come. You know, the dad is curious. He knows, like, Bobby will probably be serving alcohol and barbecuing. But it was usually a one-parent thing walking into this party yesterday. Like, one mom, one dad. Well, no, there were like 3 or 4 dads, but I'll get to the dads in a minute. In a hot New York minute. But it was mostly a mom coming in with her kids. And the relief on the mom's face when she was like, Katherine has hired it privately. Thank the Lord. Because then you can actually sit down and you have space for your things and it's quiet. And you know that your 2 or 3 or 4-year-old can explore the soft play with fewer than 18 peers from her nursery, and she's not going to get clotheslined by an older kid. And the moms were like so grateful. They were like, oh, thank God you did this. And I said, yeah, take a load off. Have a crispy cold Diet Coke. There's a charcuterie board over there. Order yourself a tea or coffee. We can all sit down. But I think the venue was committed to chaos, because at one point a man's like, what kind of music does she like? And I was like, well, you can turn off whatever like cocaine music you've got on right now and put on like some female pop, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift. And he was like, I know what you're saying. I got you. And he put it on, but he put it on at a volume that I was uncomfortable with. I was like, okay, just because we have small kids, it doesn't mean everything has to be like, like, let's chill out. Put on some like Enya. Turn it down. And it was civilized. It was lovely. It was amazing. It was great. What a great birthday party. I think I've nailed it. I've like scaled it down a little bit. I had one charcuterie board, some cookies, some baby bells, in case people don't want to be too sugared up, some hula hoops. The venue then served lunch. There was a cake. We had a princess. The princesses don't sing anymore, which I take issue with, because I think there are young women in and around London and the home counties, and they can sing. And a Disney princess sings. I'm sorry. A Disney princess does not like put on a track and like chat and read stories and dance around. No. Joanne of Telling Everybody Everything, my sister, used to be a weekend Disney princess. I don't even know if they're allowed to use the word Disney or if they have to be like Tower Princess, Sea Voyager Princess. I don't know. Snow Queen. I'm not sure. But Joanne and the other girls that she worked with had great costuming. They held themselves to like a Disneyland standard in terms of like self-presentation. And then Joanne can sing the ass off any Disney song. And I loved the princess that we have. We use this company again and again. I think they're great, but I'm always surprised when they don't sing. I'm like, what do you mean you don't sing? Even I'll sing. And it's like, it would be very Katherine Ryan to do so, but I have come close, too close to like emerging in my own costume and being like, 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. I will do it. Starting the floors and sweep. Oh no, starting the chores and sweep till the floors are clean. It's good that I don't. Bobby would be so mortified. But I would make the effort. Anyway, fine princess, but I'd pay more for one that could sing. Let me just throw that out there. I would pay more for one that could sing. Sing, you gotta sing. When we arrived, and there's only a 15-minute window where you can set up, which is awkward because like it is difficult to set up for a party, but especially when one of us, me, is holding a newborn on my tit and I can't really help Bobby. Poor Bobby has been without my assistance pretty much whatsoever since Holland was born 7 weeks ago. I just don't do anything. I'm there for like the vibes and the banter, but I don't use my arms. So he's like hauling everything in. We're under the gun, and there was one woman there. And if you are listening, and I know you're not, because you got too many problems, you don't have time to put on a podcast. She had a son, and like I'm very grateful now that there is discourse around neurodivergence And we know that if you see a child kicking off in the supermarket or like at the park, whatever the child's doing, you don't just automatically assume it's a bad kid or it's a bad parent. We do have the language and the education now to be like, all right, that is probably like a situation, a behavioral challenge that is outside of this mom's control. So right away, I see this kid who would not get out of the soft play. And the session had ended like 10 minutes before. And the staff were trying to get him out. And the mom, bless her, like was not really trying to get him out. Do you know what I mean? And if I put myself in her shoes, which again, I can't because I don't know what it's like living with him 24 hours a day. I don't know what this woman has had to deal with even already today. I don't know what other challenges she's facing in her life. I don't know any of that stuff. But like sight unseen, I would physically get into the soft play and drag him out. That's what I would do. But I'm not her and she's not me, so I can't put myself in that position. And I think years ago we'd judge her and be like, why doesn't she just do this? And it's like, okay, I have to remember that not everything is black and white. But she was sort of just stood at the mouth of the soft play being like, please come out. And he wasn't listening at all. And she'd every once in a while like go to catch him and he would run away. And that was fine. He wasn't wearing socks, which is kind of the rule. But again, that was fine. I'm not going to, whatever. Our session was starting. And my issue with it was that he was a bit too big, a bit too grown up to be in there with the small children that I knew were going to arrive. Because I'm sorry, I do think it's dangerous. So Fenna and Fred went straight in the soft play. Their guests had not arrived, but our session had started. We were setting up. And Bobby had one eye on it. He was like, oh, I think like this boy who's in there, he's on edge because he knows people are trying to get him out. And he doesn't want to leave. And he's got a lot of energy, but he's also got the soft play all to himself now. So he's like thrashing around. And these little kids are coming in the soft play. Something bad's going to happen. And I was like, Bobby, Babbo, you can't like judge this family. You don't know what's going on in their lives, neurodivergence, blah, blah, blah. So Bobby continues to set up the snacks and the drinks. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw the end of it, but Bobby happened to see the whole thing. This boy like throws Fenna down, not a slide, but like a climbing up bit, threw her down that. She was hurt. Her feelings were hurt. Luckily, she wasn't like seriously injured. It is a soft play. He didn't pinch her. He didn't bite her. He didn't scratch her. He didn't slap her. It could have been worse, but he just like pushed her down this thing. And she was like, oh, ah, mostly because she just the effrontery of like, oh, I've been assaulted. Like she's just not used to anyone being rough with her at all. And Bobby, I was like, oh my God. It just seems like way more serious than it was because the moment was already quite tense knowing this little boy wasn't getting out. And then Bobby could sense that something bad was going to happen. Then I was worried because this is the first time that my husband's daughter is being like pushed by an older boy. I was like, please, Bobby, like, what is he going to do to this kid? And the mom was then like embarrassed. Like I felt so bad for the mom because mom's like, oh no. But equally like, lady, you're meant to know this boy's like capabilities and limitations. And like, if you see that he's extended his time, all right, like give him a little like leeway. But now you see there are two small kids in there. You know his behavior, you know his patterns. Like you are the one who needs to stand in between him and this happening. It's not the venue's responsibility. It's not our responsibility. Like if you are the parent of the aggressor, even if that aggressor has challenges, you need to do something to stand in between him and that happening. I'm sorry. So Bobby gets in this woman's face a little bit. He goes, are you going to get him out or am I? That's all he said. And I was like, oh. And the lady was like, yeah, I'll get him out. So the lady like crawls up in the soft play finally. And Bobby mercifully did not go near this kid. He just grabbed Fenna and like hugged Fenna. And that's when guests started coming in. And some of the moms were like, what just happened? I was like, I mean, thankfully nothing. But the soft play's tricky. The soft play's rough. That age gap is tough. I think that's what makes the soft play most dangerous. It's like there are 2-year-olds in there and 10-year-olds in there. So like, and everybody's feral because it's meant to be physical and fun. So anyway, that went away and it was fine. And then the staff apologized to me and I was like, it is fine. Like this is what kids do. And it reminded me of a time when Violet was literally assaulted at her state school right before I took her out. And the emails that I sent on this subject were so intense. I kept using the word assault. I was like, my child was assaulted in your care. And they were like, well, Katherine. And I was like, no, assault. She was on the playground and she was just like the sweetest little girl. Again, like, my children are not physically aggressive. And a boy wanted her to get off a climbing frame and he grabbed her by the shirt, but in doing so, he scratched like 3 bloody claws down her back. And one of the lunch ladies saw what happened and comforted Violet, but no one at the school actually told me about it. Violet came home and told me. And then the lunch lady and I were friendly and she mentioned it to me another time too. But there was no official channel, no accident report of like, oh, your daughter's bleeding at school today. No. And so I went mental. I never shout or scream at anyone, but my emails were like, I need to know that my daughter's not going to be assaulted in your care. Like, why was I not informed about this assault? So it could have been worse, I said to Bobby. Like, nobody drew blood. She got pushed down a thing. Like, welcome to having kids. This is going to happen. And like, oh my God. I'm just so scared for anyone who ever hurts Fenna in the future because Bobby restrained himself. But if it ever happens, like on a serious level, my God, like Bobby will fight someone's dad. I think he will fight someone's dad. On the subject of dads, ooh, man, I'm going to like gently objectify someone now. And I think it's fine because Fenna is leaving her nursery in like days. She's almost finished going there. And when that happens, I'm going to tell you the nursery because it is so beautiful. It's the most wonderful sanctuary, like the most perfect staff. We've had the most 10 out of 10 experience going to the nursery. I can't wait to tell you what it is. If you live in North London, if you are willing to travel to Enfield, oh, this nursery. I'm like heartbroken to be taking her out, but we just have to because she needs to go to school with Fred. And our school drop right now is like an hour and a half long during rush hour, and we can't continue like that. But I'm doing the party. Everything's going fine. And there are teenagers at the party, not naming any specific names, but Violet was, of course, there. Some of my friends have teenage daughters, and also Violet invited some of her friends. So a teenager came up to me and my friend, and she said, who is, I'm going to pick a name, Lucy. Who is Lucy's dad? And these girls have kind of like pointed out good-looking dads before, and I really discourage it because I think it's sick because of the age gap. And I was like, girls, stop it. Like, these dads are not good-looking. It's really inappropriate for you to be objectifying them anyway. Like, it's not funny. And I looked to my left and I was like, huh? This dad had me in an absolute chokehold. It was like the first, apart from my husband, obviously, the first like legitimately show-stopping dad I have ever seen at a child's party. I was like, oh, no, girls. Yeah, that dad is hot. And he's around your age. This was a late 20s dad. And like that's still too old for some of the older teenagers, but it was in the realm of like what I found acceptable. And I think it's okay for me to say that because I'm not worried about offending him. I'm not worried about offending my husband. I don't want this man. I don't want any men. I happen to love my husband, and that is an anomaly. I'm no threat to this family. And I could see where the girls were coming from, though. I was like, oh my God, yes, that is like a good-looking boy, like correct. And I Googled him because I got some information from some of the other moms that he's a professional footballer. I don't know anything about football. This guy, he could be David Beckham and I wouldn't necessarily recognize him, like apart from the underwear ads and the knighthood. I don't know about sports. I Googled him. Yes, he is a professional footballer. He is married, and I remember seeing his wife on the school run, but I just didn't put two and two together. And his wife, by the way, is equally stunning. They're just like a stunning couple. But it was so funny because I went up to him and I said, oh, Fenna's leaving and Fenna and Lucy get on so well. This was totally like outside of the fact that all the young girls had just clocked him as being hot. I just think I can talk to men like easily and they'll never think that I'm like coming on to them or breaking any boundaries because I'm like an elderly mom, a geriatric parent with a newborn attached to my tit. And I said, oh yeah, the next time I see your wife, who wasn't there by the way, I said, the next time I see your wife, maybe I'll get her number so the girls can still hang out. And it was almost as though moms had tried to get this man's number before, because he was like, yeah, we'll do it through the nursery. And I was like, what? Hang on. I was not asking for your number just now. You don't have to like pie me off to the nursery. What I was saying is, I'm going to communicate with your wife and the girls can still hang out. But he's probably had so many moms. Like, who needs Raya? Who needs Tinder when you are this man at a birthday party? All the moms are just like, not even the moms. Like, that's what's sick about it. I am so old now that the teenage children in my orbit are of like a more reasonable age to fancy these 20-something dads than I am. But he was hot. He was hot objectively, I can say that. He was hot like a painting is hot. Do I want to have any romantic interactions with a painting? No, I don't. Do I want to have any romantic interactions with a 28-year-old footballer? 100% no, I don't. But credit where credit is due. Okay, I hate that every time I speak about early potty training, elimination communication, it goes viral. Every clip, like, it's just such a visceral issue for people. They get so emotionally invested. They feel like I'm judging them. They feel like I'm lying. I don't know, like, it just evokes these feelings in people that they have to post about, and there's so much engagement and so much arguing. So I hate that I'm talking about it now, but I have been recently vindicated again and again. There was a new UK study that says you should introduce the potty from 6 months. I think that's reasonable, though a little bit too late. I introduce other methods of elimination communication sooner than that. But there was a recent podcast that Andrew found, Culture Apothecary, it's called, Apothecary, the self-described #1 health and wellness podcast for cute conservatives. It's produced by Turning Point USA, the ultra-conservative network founded by the late Charlie Kirk. So many grains of salt to be taken, re their motives. Host Alex Clark had on guest Andrea Olson, a mother of 6, author of Tiny Potty, a simple guide for non-coercive potty training, and founder of the website GoDiaperFree.com, for an episode called Taking a Crap on Big Diaper. This backs me up. And Andrew, by the way, said, God fucking help my algorithm after researching this segment, Lord. Because he doesn't, potty training is not really in Andrew's wheelhouse. But here is the TLDR of the part that perked Andrew's ears up. Host Clark asked Olson if it's true that diaper companies funded research to delay potty training, and Olson said it was, claiming that some shady nappy think tank called the Pampers Institute is behind all of your children shitting themselves in nursery. The two jump around a lot, but what follows is a rousing back and forth, citing anecdotes about when infants develop sphincter control, with the prevailing medical logic being that it's developed at 18 months, but Olson maintaining that is false, as she has, quote, helped over 1 million babies and seen it with her own 6 kids. My midwife, who's so beautiful, wonderful, talented, smart, gracious, like, I can't say enough good things about her, but she went to the same medical school where they all get their information from. She discharged Holland at 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And I was saying about Holland being already showing signs of being potty trained, like in a joking way, but Holland goes to the bathroom with her nappy off usually. You take her nappy off, she goes to the bathroom. I give her opportunities to go to the bathroom with the nappy off. I hold the nappy like she's laying down to like catch everything. But it's an early way to get her used to going to the bathroom not in a nappy. This is what we do with this early potty training. There's no punishment. I'm not putting a newborn on a potty, but she's getting used to going out of her pants, not in her pants. And I said, it's amazing. Like, every time I have a baby, I'm just reminded, like, yeah, they don't want to go in their pants. And she waits until her nappy's off, and then she goes. And the midwife looked at me like sweetly, and she was like, oh yeah, they don't have sphincter control until such and such an age. And I held my tongue because I don't like to get into it, but that is wrong. It's wrong. Anecdotally, it's wrong, and I know that doesn't count with the same weight as actual science and research, but now it makes sense that this research is bullshit. Olsen then recounts meeting a guy who worked for Pampers for 30 years and holds the patent for the newborn diaper that has the little cutout part. The guy in question is a mystery, while a deep dive reveals it's actually two women who invented the diaper with separable panel for umbilical cord, but more receipts to come. Anyway, this apparent nappy whistleblower told her that the renowned American pediatrician T. Barry Brazelton, which sounds like a pseudonym from a murder mystery, who conducted the 18-month study, was the head of the Pampers Institute and heavily influenced the medical texts. So in response to the pediatric edict that you need to wait until your child is ready to potty train, Olsen asks, where did these messages come from? You follow the money, they come from these big companies. If Pampers or other big diaper brands literally chose the people to run studies a certain way to sway the market, and that's exactly what food companies do. That is exactly what pharmaceutical companies do. The conversation then pivots to whether or not diaper culture is damaging to a child's self-esteem, with Olsen offering a full-throated absolutely, conceding that she doesn't have empirical studies about this, but there's no way that being told to ignore your instincts and to defecate in your own pants for 3 years is not damaging to a child. To quote Olsen, now, for grandma and grandpa, maybe that's a normal thing, but that's because they are incontinent at a certain point. Babies are not incontinent, so we are literally telling them to ignore their instincts. We are shushing them into doing it in the way that's not the parents' fault. It's the way we've been told to do it by the people that we trust. When Clark asks Olsen how she responds to people that say elimination communication is extreme and unnecessary and unrealistic, Olsen claps back. It's the new old thing. It's what people always did. It's ancient wisdom. It's how our babies are wired. It is not a fad. It is not a trend. It's literally what they did before diapers. She also draws stark parallels between potty training on Big Nappy's terms and late childhood bedwetting, insisting that children are born with sphincter control, and potty training teaches them to ignore those signals from their bodies, not to trust their own body, and that causes those muscles to become flaccid. Again, with the psychological impact, Olsen says, I think we are physiologically damaging our kids by making them go in a diaper for so long. And again, y'all are innocent if you didn't know anything, but now you know that the earlier you potty train, the less of a correlation there is with bedwetting. Okay. People don't like to be made to feel bad. It's really shameful and hurtful to feel like, oh, I did something wrong. And I get DMs about this, not just about potty training, but also about controlled crying, as it's called, which is like the most insane name for letting your child cry. And I always say, like, the overreaching message is like, your mental health is paramount. If your child has a parent that is like losing it, then that is the most damaging thing to your child. So you do whatever you need to do to be mentally well. If that means you have to use the cry it out method and put your child in a separate room and ignore their cries, honestly, if that's what you need, then I think that is what you should do, because they need you to be mentally well. But if you can respond to their cries, co-sleep with them, not let them cry it out, and be mentally well, then obviously I think that's what you should do. I think it is, and I'm sorry to say it because it hurts people's feelings, I think it causes attachment issues to let a child cry in the dark all alone. That's what I think. I also think it causes a disconnect between like your own autonomy and self-esteem if you let someone shit their pants until they're 3. That is what I think. I know that hurts your feelings. And we don't hurt people's feelings anymore. Do with that what you want. She goes on to say, in the 1950s, 92% were potty trained by 18 months. Do you think that our kids are any biologically different or physiologically different than kids? What is that, 70 years ago? They're not. We haven't evolved into a different set of everything. You say wait and the baby waits. Yes, that baby is capable of communication. comes out communicating, understands language far before they say their first word. So babies are so much more capable than we, and we really dumb it down. We make them convenient. We make them fit into our own lives. Okay, Andrew has done some fact checking here. Claim number 1, babies cannot control their elimination at all until 18 months because they, quote, don't have sphincter control. Reality. Infants across cultures and historical timelines naturally show cues and patterns for elimination, and EC simply responds to those signals, much as we do with feeding, without requiring babies to consciously hold it. So no. Claim number 2, diaper companies invented the idea of later potty training. Reality. Marketing and sponsored research care of Big Nappy definitely helped popularize later toilet training norms, with pediatric readiness models emerging just as disposable diapers were becoming widely used and marketed. So kind of, maybe, even verging on, yeah. Claim number 3, elimination communication is extreme, fringe, a trend, or new. Reality, like gossip or sex work, elimination communication is historically widespread, culturally common approach to infant toileting that long predates modern diapers and remains widely practiced around the world, so no. Claim number 4, using diapers for years has an effect on child's body awareness. Reality, extended diapering, or as we call it, a long winter snappy, can influence a child's sensory feedback loop, but not catastrophically per se. Diapers absorb or mask the sensations associated with elimination, wetness, warmth, discomfort. Some research suggests that reduced sensory feedback may delay awareness, which is a key part of toilet independence, so yeah. Claim number 5, bedwetting at older ages is caused by diaper use in infancy. Reality, no evidence supports this. Bedwetting is influenced by genetics, sleep, depth, bladder development, neurological maturation. However, elimination communication may give some children earlier confidence and awareness around elimination by fostering early familiarity with toileting rhythms. So maybe not. Claim number 7, elimination communication is too hard, unrealistic, or only for full-time caregivers. Now, this is the criticism that I get a lot online. People will comment like, oh, she has nannies, she has this, she has that, she's rich. I did this with Violet. I did it with Fred, I did it with Fenna, I'm doing it with Holland. I am very busy, but all of the hours that I'm not working, I am looking at my child usually, or I'm around my child, or I still have predictable routines. I co-sleep. With Violet, I was poor. I had no help. I had no nannies. And I wasn't just home with her. I was working and bringing her with me. Wherever we were together. You think like hunter-gatherers weren't like working. They were with their kids. I know you can't do that all the time. You can't bring your kids to work in every job. But if we adopted this more mainstream, then nurseries would have the same awareness. Nurseries wouldn't just be like changing diapers. It would be cutting down time to have potties in the room for very small children, or to kind of get in a routine of knowing their cues. It's not harder or more time consuming than changing nappies. It just isn't. And you can instruct anyone who's around your child. Your child's never alone. Any caregiver, grandparent, nursery worker, if it was more widespread, could do this or could do a version of this. The reality is many families practice part-time elimination communication. So like a morning pee, after nap, bath time, some diaper-free intervals that suit your schedule, and even occasional elimination communication improves awareness for both child and caregiver. So no. Big nappy makes sense to me. I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. You've obviously never heard any diaper ads on this podcast, and that grinds my gears because as a mother of 4, I am throwing money in the fire by talking the way I do about elimination communication. Full disclosure, Holland does use Pampers. That's my favorite brand that I have used, though I haven't tried every brand. I love Pampers. I love it, but you will not catch me buying over a size new baby 3. I don't know what to say about it, guys. Like, I don't love being like the person, like the spokesperson for elimination communication, because it makes so many people feel bad. I don't want people to feel bad. But it also just grinds my gears when there's so much misinformation about it and people get so defensive. It's like, it's not your fault. You didn't know. But just because you didn't know doesn't mean you have to attack people who have done it a different way. And if you have another child, like, try it this time if you want. No pressure, just try it when it suits you. I also love women who are like, what's the point? My child was 2.5. It took him 1 day to learn. Done. It's like, all right, good. But then he still shat his pants 2 years longer than he should have. So like, what are you trying to say? Just time for some emails now. And this one is so fun. I have seen this. It's a little news story that a listener is going to tell me about. And I almost hate to promote it because I think this woman's probably very seriously mentally ill, but here we go. Katherine, I am majorly behind on your podcast, so even if you do read this, I won't hear it for a few weeks, but I'm currently catching up, and I've listened to your episode when you spoke about toxic women and how it's really good for you sometimes to hear about women doing bad things. To remind you, it's not just men. I, like yourself, don't like to believe women can be even put on the same level as men, but here we are. This one is mad. I won't say too much. You can look into it yourself. But recently in Scotland, just outside of Glasgow, there is a young woman who fakes a full pregnancy, birth, and newborn baby. This woman fakes being pregnant, has a gender reveal and everything. She was sat outside the hospital for hours so people could see her location and could see she was in the hospital, quote, having her baby. She said the baby was born with a hole in its heart. She told her entire family, friends, and the dad and his family all about this, only for her own mother to walk in the room one day and see the reborn doll on her bed. The full thing was a scam. I believe it was maybe to try to keep her man. Crazy, right? Just one of these things that maybe is only something a toxic woman could do. LOL, she says. I'm not going to reveal this woman's name. I don't know what is going on with this woman now, but yes, I saw this on TikTok. Reborn dolls, if you don't know what those are, and I'm sure like listeners of this podcast just do. It is a doll. Like when we were little girls, we liked playing with dolls, nurturing them, having little high chairs and beds for them, dressing them, feeding them. I think reborn dolls are a really good way for adults who have different challenges or just adults who still like that world of play to have a baby. I see reborn dolls used a lot for people with dementia. I see reborn dolls used just for people who have no mental health issues whatsoever. They just like the idea of like still playing with a baby doll. And even I had a reborn doll for Violet when she was a child, just because I thought it was like a pretty doll and I wanted to buy it, and I still like dolls. And it's heavy though. It's kind of too heavy for a kid would be my advice. If you're thinking about buying a reborn doll for Christmas, it's too heavy for a child. It's like the weight of an actual baby. But they're cute. And so this girl, God love her, it is toxic, of course, to lie to your partner and to all your family and friends. And like, how do you not think you're going to be found out? Obviously, she, and you can look in more to this if you want. It's all over TikTok in the news. You can read about it. Yeah, then she started to feel like, oh, how am I going to cover up this lie? Okay, well, I'll say that this fantasy baby has a medical issue. And then like, later, maybe I can just get more sympathy. I can say like that it passed on, or I don't know what her plan was. I don't. But it's ludicrous. Crucially though, she didn't, she lied and she manipulated people, but she didn't kill anyone. She didn't hurt anyone. Like, remember Scott Peterson, the American man whose wife Lacey was very pregnant with their son Connor, and he started having an affair. And this is like the difference in my mind between toxic men and toxic women. He planted the seed early. He told his affair partner that his wife had died. He was like, my wife died a while ago. She's like, oh, okay. So she didn't know she was a mistress. He goes on and then like puts forward plans to like make his wife disappear, pretends she went missing, and the deceased wife and baby are found like that, This woman didn't do that to keep her man. This woman just hurt herself. I feel like, how do you hide that from your own mother? How's the mom not being like, can I hold the baby once? Yeah, pretty toxic though. Great example. Really good for my misinjury. Oh no, back to toxic men so soon. Problems with my creepy landlord. Katherine, I'm 23. My landlord is over 50. He's old, he's fat, and he's ugly. He lives on the same property in a separate house. I have dated many freaks, Katherine. 3 of my exes are pedophiles. Jesus. 3 of your exes are pedophiles. 3. Okay. I happen to be excellent at manifesting ugly, fat, bald men who don't know how to vacuum. Luckily, one day I accidentally came across the concept of feminism through your stand-up comedy, and it changed my whole world. But here's my dilemma. My landlord is creepy, inappropriate, and every time he speaks, I feel a strong urge to set his balls on fire. Here are some examples of his charming behavior. When I arrive, despite his insistence it would be, my bedroom was not finished. He has spent 2 months installing the insulation, always doing a couple hours in a day, and then saying he's tired. He's got shitty the one time I didn't come out straight away to allow him into my room and told me, oh, it's too late to work on it now. When I didn't apologize or care, he insisted he still come over. What? He expects me to babysit his son and dog sit for free. And let me tell you, Katherine, this man does not have an easy child. This child has been told to keep me a secret from his mother. He told me he would use my name as an emergency contact when I know his son better so he can regain more custody. He's shared an insane amount of personal information, bragged for 2 hours straight that he didn't buy some girl birthday presents and still gets to sleep with her, and told me all about his current girlfriend's extremely abusive ex. He makes fun of his girlfriend. He tells stories about upsetting her, and he finds it hilarious that she was upset. Once, while watching his son, I drew a smiley face on his car dust. He called me up and told me I had damaged the paint. I apologized, said I wouldn't do it again, but he told me just the same as if he came over and sanded down my legs with sandpaper because his car is his property. Jesus Christ. Please someone tell him that my body is no one's property. He told me I was lucky because some people would have called the police. Anyway, he stole my light bulb. While he was in my room doing stuff, he just took my light bulb out of the lamp and stole it. From all my exes, from books, and from my shuddering uterus, I know that this is the sign of a psycho. Even worse, he put a shock collar on his dog. I love his dog. He locks her up for hours and hours with a piss and shit soaked blanket. I had to clean her run, get her new blankets. I had to train her, and now she's running around getting electrocuted by this Uggo. What can I even do? I know what you're thinking. I need to leave. Yeah, I did. Oh my God. So despite being told I was being erratic and dramatic, I lived in a motel until I found somewhere else safe to live. My dilemma now, though, is that I've made him mad. I've attached our recent text below. I know people will say I'm overreacting, but I feel so strongly that he is unhinged and unsafe. I know he will continue to contact me, but I don't know what to do. I feel harassed, and I'm afraid he will show up while I'm at work. Do I hire a lawyer? Oh my God, let's read these texts. Oh my God. Okay, so the first text, and this is very recent, the first text that this 50-plus landlord, quote unquote, even though he's like using you as an au pair, like, let's get back to your original email. Hang on before we dive into the text. He's using you as an au pair. I don't know what kind of rent you're paying, but surely there are, like, as a landlord, which I formerly was, we've sold the church. Sad. But when I was a landlord, there are things you have to do. You have to be registered. You can't just like have people living in your flat. And then when they give you a deposit, you have to register that deposit with some place. Like, there are rules you have to follow. So what is this guy doing? He should not have you in a room that he's still fixing up and doing installation and stuff. He's not supposed to have access to your room without 24 hours notice. If he's charging you rent at all, I mean, he's breaching loads of rules. And then the the boundaries that he's crossing, talking to you about his sexual relationships at all, his ex at all, making you watch his child and dog. Like, yes, this is toxic from the jump. And now let's read the texts. Are you away or you dead in a ditch? Is what he writes to you. You don't respond. Then half a week later, he writes again, hello, hope you're okay. I haven't heard from you. Is everything okay? So like a more respectful version of the first text. And you wrote, hey, the place wasn't suitable for me, so I'm moving into town. I'll have my things moved over the next couple of days. Thanks. Okay. So devil's advocate, I think as soon as you left, you maybe should have told him, especially because you're in each other's space so much. Like maybe he really did think you were dead in a ditch. And he's like, well, I was going to kill you. Who killed you before I could kill you? So then he writes, all good, no worries. So are you saying you're giving me a week's notice today? Yeah, you need to give him notice, but you kind of don't need to give him notice because you guys don't follow the rules. And you wrote, yep. And he wrote, no problem, I understand. I got grumpy myself over too much going on at home in my once quiet space. Some other people moved out and are doing a bit of work for me, knocking down the old crap sheds by my house. Oh, you don't write back. And then he writes, can you explain the trespassing tow truck on Friday? If I said to you, the car's going, there was another truck on Friday. Do I need to make a police report? I didn't ask for a tow truck to come into my yard. Do you know the person or know why they came to my property and drive about and left? The other fact is, why did they leave? Maybe you asked me to get the car going and I did. I'm really confused on what you asked of me. I put car in my shed. I got it running. I don't know what the hell any of that is about. But yeah, he seems to like threatening to call the police. So you've written, as you know, I moved out. You need to leave me alone. As you very well know, you've been absolutely disgusting, inappropriate, and completely predatory the entire time I was living there and made me feel very unsafe in my home. You are fully aware I was moving out. I had people move my things for me and take my car, as I was renting on the property that is perfectly reasonable for me to do. I do not wish to be contacted by you. You are welcome to make any type of police report you feel is necessary, as I will be getting a restraining order if you continue to attempt to contact me. And then he wrote, you're insulting. You agreed I looked at your car, which I got mobile, and I only renovated what we agreed. I'm simply asking, was it your tow truck? Oh. I do not have a camera that extends to your privacy. To confirm, my camera does not reach your parking area. I suggest you shut up or stop suggesting such. Blah, blah, blah. It was my home and you were a flatmate. Girl, okay. I don't think you're going to hear from him again. He had the last word. You gotta, in life, let people have the last word. Leave it, block his number. He shouldn't be able to text you, like, once you get all your stuff out. And just don't reach out to him again. Does he know where you're staying now? I really hope not. And, you know, it might cost a little more to do things above board, but you can't be taking chances like this, especially as a young woman with 3 pedophile exes under your belt. You obviously suffer from chronic poor judgment, not victim blaming, but like you need to be living with women. You need an estate agent. You need like documents. You can't be just couch surfing with maniacs like this. You can't do it. You're going to get yourself hurt. And again, it sounds like I'm victim blaming, but like take some responsibility for your safety and just make those rules for yourself, because you're going to end up in a situation like this. I don't think you're overreacting. He is unhinged, but hopefully like too busy with renovations to come and find you. Block, block, block is your friend. Silence is a universal language. If he continues to find ways to harass you down the line, take it a step further, but my instinct is he's just gonna go away. He's got a lot on his plate. Ooh, this is fun. Can I be petty to my grandmother-in-law? I don't even have a grandmother-in-law left. That's sad. Do I have grandparents? No. Couldn't remember. Oh, I don't. And Bobby did, because his parents were young and his grandparents were young. But, oh, he has one. Yeah, he has his Beppe. Long live Beppe. And I would never be petty to the queen that is Beppe. All right, Katherine, you are amazing at measured, petty advice, so I need to know what to do. I did not take my husband's name when we got married. And I decided to be a Ms. because I think it's insane that the first thing you'd learn about a woman is if she's married or not and not a man. And I think Ms. sounds mysterious and leaves more questions than answers, which is the first thing I want people to think about me. I love that. I'm also Ms. I always put Ms. Ryan on the things. Anyway, our kids have his surname as I got to pick first and middle name, which felt fair. This is what works for our family. So my name is Ms. Beautiful name. I'm not going to tell you what it is. And his is Mr. blah, blah. Oh, she tweaked it? She tweaked both of them? Oh, well, I'm not going to say them anyway. Your name's better than his, by the way. When we got married, I told everyone in my husband's family very clearly that I was keeping my name. And whilst I support a woman's freedom to choose, my choice is to keep my own name because I belong to no man. My mother-in-law is great and totally gets it. Can I just say, when you say, I support a woman's right to choose, unpopular opinion, I think, apart from like in some very special cases, when a woman takes her husband's surname, I don't think she's choosing. I think she's just going with the flow. I think she's doing what's done. That is overwhelmingly the thing that's done. So I don't think she's choosing because they're not on equal plateaus. You know what I mean? It's not like, keep your own name or take his name. It's 50-50. People go one way or another. It's not 50-50. You do get pushback from all of society, including your husband, if you don't take his name in a lot of cases. So no, I don't think that it is an unbiased choice. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Unless you have like a terrible fucking last name and your husband's last name's cool, or if your dad was an asshole and you don't want his name anymore, unless you have some family thing, I think it's weird. But every year we get a Christmas card from his grandparents titled to Mr. and Mrs. his first and last name. Who is she? Mrs. his first and last name. I don't know her. Last time we took the kids over to visit, I casually dropped into conversation why keeping my name was important to me. Okay, casually may have been an overstatement, but they are aware. So today, the annual Christmas card landed on my doorstep to Mr. and Mrs. his first name, his last name. So, is it too much to put not known at this address, return to sender, and their address on the card and pop it back in the post box, then let my husband explain to his grandmother when she calls to ask why this has happened? Is that petty? Should I be grateful when they send a card and appreciate that they are of a different era? Am I the asshole bad, or should they respect my choices? Thanks in advance. Ms. My first name, my last name. Both things are true, I think. It is triggering probably to see yourself referred to as Mrs. a man's first name, a man's last name, when you have repeatedly made it clear that that's not how you want to be known. And I think if this grandmother-in-law were just innocently addressing the cards this way because that's tradition and that's how she does it, that would be one thing. But I'll take it a step further. I think she's being petty. I think she has heard your request to be called by your own name, which sounds ridiculous, and she is purposefully being like, Mrs. da-da-da. So I think what you need to do, and this is petty as fuck, I think you need to start your own little correspondence campaign. And when you send a Christmas card to Nana and Papa, you need to find out her maiden name, and you need to address it to like Mr. Grandpa last name and Ms. maiden name, maiden name. Boom, boom. Blow this old lady's tiny mind. And maybe feeble heart wide open. And she will raise it. You won't even have to raise it. She'll be like, excuse me, why did I receive a Christmas card with my first maiden name and my last maiden name? And you will say, oh, I just think it's, I miss being called my maiden name, or I prefer to be called by my maiden name. And sometimes I get called like your grandson's name, and that's so weird to me. So I just decided I would call you by your maiden name because I think it's a beautiful name. Like, say something like that. Or just say, yeah, oh, it's so weird. I get called his name and that's not my name. And you got called your maiden name and you have chosen to take a man's first name, last name. Isn't that weird? But yeah, this is what you got to do. You got to send it back to her. and see what she brings to the table. But also with in-laws, like, why isn't your husband dealing with it? If I had beef with my in-laws, which I don't, my husband, he'd be the one that I would be, well, I've answered my own question. He wouldn't deal with it, would he? He'd go, and it'd like go to the bottom of the list. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. I have some big news, by the way. I might have 5 days to live. Guys, I'm really scared. I'm having surgery on Friday. Elective cosmetic surgery. And I know people joke about me getting that all the time. I have never, ever had surgery on my face. I would tell you if I did, and that's why I'm telling you now. On Friday, I am having surgery on my face. And I'm bringing the baby and a maternity nurse, don't worry. Guys, I might die. I hope not. But if I do, please avenge me. I don't even care. Yeah, one of you can marry Bobby. That's fine. That's fine. The best of you marry Bobby. Violet will give you a hard time. Be prepared for that. You're going to have to do 100% of the laundry and work your ass off. Just know that. But you don't have to have any more kids if you don't want them. You will need to listen back to my potty training episodes because I don't want Holland shitting her pants till she's 3. You will have to be really good at playing accents, voices. My Australian accent has shot through the roof since the kids started loving Bluey. No, I'm not going to bore you with it now. You're going to have to do a lot to fill my shoes, but I might die Friday. And I can't tell you exactly what I'm doing because I've got a little docu-series in the works with one of my favorite production companies, Orchard. And you're going to find out everything, I guess. Everything. I'm letting cameras just come in a premium way to talk about me and my family and my mental status and what I've decided to do. I hope it goes okay. The next time you hear from me, I could be speaking to you from heaven, or I could be a lot cuter. I don't know. But yeah, Friday I'm doing something wild. So watch out for that. I'm going to try not to spill everything. I'm going to try to keep it for the docuseries. But any questions that you have, I guess email me. I guess I'll be on email a lot. You can write me a message telling everybody everything at gmail.com. You can reach out to me on my socials. I will be either dead or fully recovered by January 29th when I am doing my stand-up show Battle Axe in Los Angeles at the E-Bell Theater, 7 p.m. My special is coming out on Sky this month. They have chosen a day and it's after Christmas, and I suppose that's because there are some spicy messages in my special. I do slag off some celebrities, and I've been trying to think about how to address that if they get upset. And I think if I could just do it now, posthumously, get over it would be my reaction. I mention a few celebrities in a nice way. I mention one celebrity in particular in not so nice a way. But get over it. I'm joking. Get over it. It's a joke. It's a comedy special. Get over it. Is my official stance. What else can I tell you about my other podcast on Audible with Bobby? We have a Christmas special Audible series. You can also listen to What's My Age Again. We have a new series of that coming soon, hopefully. Write Me Dirty. And as always, you can see me here on Telling Everybody Everything. Please look after my children. Say a little prayer for me. I'll see you soon.